Right, sir. So good afternoon to all.
Good afternoon.
It's an opportunity, great opportunity for me to welcome you all in this international conference on COVID-19, potential challenges for growth and development of hospitality and tourism industry. So we are having with us a very eminent speakers from the country and the abroad. We have with us Ms. Roob Gill Axelsen from Denmark and UK, who is in the cultural trip company UK. Dr. Sanjay Kaushik, Dean College Development Council, Punjab University, Chandigarh. Dr. Parvinder Singh Dhillon, in charge, Department of Hospitality and Tourism, Punjab University, Patiala. Chef Sanjeev Verma from Chandigarh. Dr. Gulshan Sharma and Dr. Prem Kumar. So at the outset, I want to welcome you all, particularly the participants who have made this event success. We are having an overwhelming response for this event. More than 900 registrations we got for this. Before we further start the proceedings, let me invite Dr. Ashwini Bhalla for the theme presentation of this conference. Dr. Ashwini Bhalla, President, Punjab Commerce and Management Association. Dr. Bhalla, please.
Thank you, Dr. Singla, for starting the proceedings of the conference. Respected Dr. Roob Gill Axelsen, Dr. Sanjay Kaushik, Dr. Parminder Dhillon, Dr. Sanjeev Verma, Dr. Gulshan Sharma, Director General in the International Chamber of Service Industry, Dr. Prem Kumar, Dr. Vikas Deep, Dr. Pushpinder Gill, Dr. Gurcharanji, and all the delegates who have joined from all over the globe in this very international conference on COVID-19 potentials and challenges for growth and development of hospitality and tourism industry. Before going on the theme of the conference, I would like to introduce my association, Punjab Commerce and Management Association, which was founded in 2004 by the galaxy of intellectuals to create a networking for excellence whose main objective is to develop creativity through innovations. The Punjab Commerce and Management Association works to create and sustain an environment conducive to the growth and development of commerce and management education in the region, partnering academicians, practitioners, and policymakers through advisory and consultative process. Through the process of interaction, the PCMA network aims to obtain a better appreciation of the subject of entrepreneurship. Punjab Commerce and Management Association is a non-government, non-profit playing a proactive role in the India's development process. Its main objective is to bridge the gap between academic output and standards of professionalism that industry aspires to achieve. The emphasis of PCMA activities is to bring theory and practice of commerce and management closer to each other. PCMA has made an effort to provide a platform to ignite the minds of this region to brainstorm for constructive discussion and find solutions of conventional and contemporary problems in the field of commerce and management. And in the situation of this pandemic, because of COVID-19, we are struggling very hard by organizing various activities. We have interacted with so many intellectuals across the globe to find the solutions of the various problems, rather it is in education or industry or in tourism or hospitality or the other fields of the government sector. This association works in close collaboration with international development agencies, the universities in the region, and academic and professional institutions in the field of commerce and management. PCMA strongly believe that partnership and cooperation between academicians, academic institutions, government and civil society is the key to economic and social development of this country. We have organized so many activities. We started with a virtual roundtable conference on the issue of migrant laborers of the Punjab. We discussed this issue with the government of Punjab and the district administration of Ludhiana and all the industry people and even the administration sit together with the PCMA to find the solutions of the migrant laborers who are going to their homes. We conducted seminars and conferences with the educationist, vice chancellor, registrar, dean academic affairs of the different universities to arrive at the solutions of the problem faced by the education sector, particularly the universities and the colleges. So now today we are going to discuss a very important topic which has been hit by the COVID-19 very badly. And this is the area, particularly tourism, hospitality, aviation, which has been affected mostly by the COVID-19, and everything is in standstill. Basically, tourism, hospitality, aviation are the basic contributors to the economic growth of any nation. And India is not an exception to it. Because of COVID-19, people have cut down their travel budgets, and it is expected that 50 million jobs are at risk. In India, loss of 1.25 trillion rupees in a year 2020 alone has been occurred. So some of the states, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, North India states, Assam, Meghalaya, all has been badly affected because the most of the employment of these people living in this region are based on the tourism and hospitality industry. Now everything is at standstill. So as per the Federation of Association in Indian Tourism and Hospitality, faith, around 70% out of total estimated workforce of 5.5 crore, that is direct and indirect, could get unemployed, around that is 3.8 crore. So in terms of financial value, if the next full-fledged session revives by October of 2020, would be looking at losses on the current books or the inbound to be close to 20 to 25%. The domestic and the outbound, the summers, which are the key months, are completely wiped out. So the losses can be upward of the 40%. So now there are a number of issues which needs to be discussed, and I hope the experts which has been tapped today, has been requested today to discuss on the various issues, because the employment factor is very, very important factor which has been badly hit by COVID-19 in the area of tourism, hospitality, aviation sector. The sustainability of the system of the tourism industry, hospitality industry is at stake. How the maintenance of the already inbuilt structure, which is not going to be used from the last 3 months, and the people has to bear the fixed cost there. The livelihood of the people has been badly affected. How we can check out the strategies regarding this, how we are going to cover these costs, what are the strategies in pipeline, what are in the minds of the people who are encountered with this industry. I hope we'll be getting the fruitful discussion. Dr. Roop, who is basically Indian by birth, Canadian by nationality, Danish by marriage, British by residence, and working as a product manager in the Culture Tip, London, UK, will be explaining in detail her experiences, how to revive this industry. She is the daughter of Punjab, and we are proud of her. Similarly, we have experts like Dr. Gulshan Sharma, Dr. Parminder Singh Tillon, who is in charge of the Department of Tourism, Hospitality and Hotel Management of Punjabi University, Patiala. Chef Sanjeev Verma, an owner of Pashtun Restaurant, Chandigarh, will be explaining in detail what are in their minds, how we can revive this industry. Recently, we conducted a talk of Rajman Singh, who is running a chain of restaurants named Veg Delights in Australia. He explained his case study that during even the this pandemic situation, during the lockdown also, they were able to successfully survive, and there was a zero unemployment in the area of their sector. So how we are thinking about it, what is the scenario in the international level, what will be the scenario in Punjab, all these issues will be deliberated in detail today. So I am very hopeful and very productive conference is going to be held, and which will be helpful for our hospitality and aviation industry, and the students who are doing research in this area will be getting benefited out of it. So thank you very much once again. I once again welcome all the participants, all the resource persons who are there in this international conference, and I hope this conference is going to be a landmark in this pandemic situation, and we are going to get the fruitful results. Now we have our keynote speaker, Mrs. Roop Gill Axelson, who is product manager, cultural trip and UK based company. And I have already said that she's the daughter of Punjab, and we are proud of her. And we hope that we are going to get benefited out of her discourse. So I request Roop Gill Axelson to deliver her keynote address.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ashwini. Can I check that everyone can hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
I can.
Perfect. I'm also going to share my screen because I have a small presentation I would like to show everyone. Can everyone see my screen as well?
Yeah, it should be fine.
Absolutely, we can see.
Perfect. I'll get started then. Thank you so much for inviting me to give this keynote. And thanks to all the organizers of this international conference as well. So I've been asked today to speak about opportunities and challenges for hospitality and tourism industry. But before we do that, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about who I am. In addition to being the daughter of Punjab, which Dr. Ashwini very kindly put, I am a product manager at Culture Trip. So what does a product manager do? A product manager has a product area that they are responsible for. So essentially we have problem questions that we want to answer. So a problem question can be, how can we get more people on our website? And the way we would go around solving that is a product manager's job. So we can say, we can do some more advertising, we can run a contest, we can create other type of content that people see, we can do different types of marketing. So assessing all of those options is a product manager's role. At Culture Trip, I'm responsible for all content on the site, the community of contributors, so everyone who contributes to the website, and story formats. So my responsibility is to work with the IT department, software engineers, UX designers to build features that you can actually use. Now, I'm not sure how many people on the call have heard about Culture Trip, so I'll give you a little bit of a background. Culture Trip's mission is to inspire people to go beyond their cultural boundaries and experience what's unique and special about the place. The company was started in 2015, and then since then we have gotten a lot of funding and we have grown. In 2018, Forbes magazine named it as one of the fastest growing startups in the UK. Since 2015, we have also received about $100 million in funding. And we also have an app which has been selected as App of the Day, both in the US and the UK by Apple. So really, what do? We are a travel resource. So if you want to plan a trip somewhere, you may want to come to Culture Trip to learn about where you're going. So if you wanted to go to Australia, for example, you would go to Culture Trip, read a bit about Australia. You can save the places you want to go to, and you can also book hotels and experiences with us. That is basically what our business is. Pre-coronavirus, so pre-COVID-19. Let me just tell you a little bit about our users and our product and how we were doing. So we had 15 million average monthly users, 2.7 million app downloads, 8 million social followers across all of our channels, and we had gotten more than 30 media awards. So we were doing really, really well. And encouraged by all of this, we also launched hotel bookings in 2019, last year. And then on March 23rd, 2020, we launched the ability to book experiences on Culture Trip. And we could not have found a worse time to launch something new in the travel space, because as we all know, in March 2020, COVID hit, and that had a massive impact on travel. More than 100 countries have had travel restrictions because of COVID. This is a graph that shows the global flight volume before and after COVID-19. So flights have just completely plummeted. This shows that the total travel is not just international, but domestic travel is also getting impacted. These are all the travelers who pass through security at US airports, and they have gone from 2.6 million to 95,000 This shows that it's not just a certain sector, but across business and leisure, both in EMEA, which is Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and the US, for leisure and business, flights have gone down. And likewise for leisure and business, hotel bookings have gone down as well. So as you know, these graphs show, the entire industry has just completely plummeted. Now let's talk about other key players in the tech space of travel. So Airbnb. Airbnb's year-on-year weekly change in global rental bookings has gone down nearly 100%. So they have seen a lot of decline in bookings. And there's a predicted passenger revenue loss of $314 billion in 2020. So the aviation industry is really going to suffer, and the hospitality and tourism industry is really, really going to suffer. So in summary, the entire tours and activities sector, which we believe we are a part of, is valued at $254 billion in 2019 and consists of 1 million operators. So far in 2020, 85% of the operators have generated less than 250,000 in sales. So, you know, we're halfway through 2020. It should be half of that 254 billion, but compared to that, we're not really doing as well as we can. 28% of the operators, as per the source, are at risk of closing their business within the next 3 months. But at the same time, a lot of industries which benefit from tourism are also encouraging people to stay at home because that is the right thing to do in order to control the spread of COVID-19. So I have used 2 examples from the UK. Visit Cornwall. Cornwall is an area of the UK which is quite famous for tourism, which has just said, please don't come to Cornwall. We don't want you to come here. Similarly, National Trust, which manages a lot of the national parks and older heritage sites, has also said, we're not interested, just stay at home. So in this entire space, obviously some kind of innovation needs to happen to be able to sustain the travel and entertainment industries. So if that is what the scene looks like, there have also been some very, very good examples of innovation in the travel industry. So let's look at BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed, I'm sure you know you're familiar with. They have a lot of listicles and they had some quizzes. So what BuzzFeed did in wake of COVID-19 is they launched a new multiplayer mode on quizzes to help socialize from home. So it's still their, you know, general functionality, but now you can have a multiplayer mode. Facebook immediately launched shops in order to bring more businesses online during pandemic. So as you can see, like in the travel sector, people have been innovating and big companies have been innovating very, very quickly. Airbnb, which we think of as a competitor, but also someone to look up to, launched entirely digital experiences on 9th April 2020. So experiences include things like bartending and cooking classes, virtual bike tours, fortune reading, comedy shows. Like this conference has gone from being in a room to virtual. Airbnb has also tried to make experiences go from being in a space to virtual experiences. Atlas Obscura, which is another competitor we have in the space, also has launched online experiences to encourage people to basically be entertained at home. And we did the same thing. So Culture Trip launched virtual experiences on 18th May, so about a month after Airbnb, but they have 20 times more engineers than we do. So we're still small compared to Airbnb. And the kind of experiences that are offered are online quizzes, cooking classes, meditation and yoga, or learning languages. So this is what we're doing in the meantime, but what are our post-COVID-19 predictions? How do we foresee that the global travel sector, especially the global tech travel sector, will come out of it? Domestic travel is predicted to be quite a large factor initially. So even though there may be restrictions on international travel, people can still travel within their own countries. So what we are predicting is that at least within US and Europe, which are our key markets, people won't want to fly really, really far away, but they might want to do more domestic travel within the country or within the region. So a short-term opportunity for travel and hospitality is domestic travel. So instead of people booking really big trips and flights to go elsewhere, maybe they want to explore a bit closer to home. In light of that, what we have launched at Culture Trip just last week is outdoor experiences. So this is another one of the products that I was involved in launching. And what we can offer is day trips, outdoor activities, as experiences that you can buy with us, because we also assume that people don't want to be in the same room as people because of the spread of COVID, but they have less of worry about going out in the nature and exploring that. So we are starting to offer nature experiences. These are 3 of the pages that we launched 2 weeks ago: outdoor escapes in Canada, outdoor escapes in Ireland, outdoor escapes in New Zealand. So what we are assuming over here is, because we have a lot of audiences who are in US and Canada, UK and Ireland, Australia and New Zealand, then maybe they don't want to go travel to India, for example, but they may want to travel across their own countries. So we have a renewed focus on domestic travel. So the main takeaways from my presentation today are, yes, travel is among the hardest hit industries from COVID-19. We have tons of graphs that prove that, and there's no question around that. But digital players are innovating. We are trying to figure out how we can survive in this space at this moment. And then there is an opportunity around domestic travel and outdoor experiences in the short term until travel as we know it fully comes back. Thank you so much for your time, and that was my presentation. I'm not sure who's speaking next, who I'm passing on to next.
Thank you, Roop, for giving the nice presentation and brief scenario, what is going on and what your company is doing in this present scenario. And definitely whatever inputs you have given regarding your company, they are going to give some inputs to us also, particularly in the Indian hospitality, aviation and hotel industry, because that is worst hits. We don't have the resources because Indian hospitality and hotel industry are in a large segment is working in small scale sector also, and particularly in the state of Himachal Pradesh, in the northeastern state, you can find small people, small in a very, very small manner, they are running it, they are getting benefit of it in their homes. Homestays they have opened, small dhabas they have opened, small kind of eatable points they have opened, but they have been worst hits because they don't have the capital like your company is doing. They don't have the resources. So what we have to do now, this is a very, very pertinent situation. Though your presentation is going to benefit to all of us, to how we can connect with the social media, how can we manage all these things so that we can engage people and we can convince people. Presently, the confidence building is one of the very important aspect which needs to be considered. So unless and until we build a confidence in the minds of the people that they are going to be safe in the outer area, at the outer places, in the hotels, in the restaurants, in the small dhabas that we say in Punjab, so then they will be coming in Ludhiana. I have listened so many people, I have read so many people on the social media, and they are saying that we should not go to hotels, restaurants at least for an year. This is going to hit the industry. So how the confidence building will be there, that is a very, very important aspect for all of us to consider. So thank you very much, Roop. I know you have other engagements also, so that's why we have taken your time. Thanks so much. So we will continue to engage you in future also, because your presentation and takeaways are very, very good. Thank you so much. So
thank you so much for the opportunity. Have a good rest of the session.
Thank you. Thank you. Now I request our chef, Dr. Parminder Singh Tillon. He is in Punjabi University, Patiala. He is in charge of Department of Tourism, Hospitality and Hotel Management, Punjabi University. He's engaging the students regarding this area and doing research on this. He has gone through various kinds of literature regarding this and have an eye on various aspects of this particular region. So I request Dr. Parminder Singh Tillon to share his experiences with us. So Dr. Kaushik will be joining us soon. Dr. Tillon.
Haji. Hello.
Ji, Doctor, we can hear you.
Yeah. Can you see my presentation? Video is not there, I believe.
Yes, now it is there. Presentation.
Presentation has not come yet, sir. Please you share screen, sir.
Yeah, share it.
Doctor, I think somebody has used two phones and yes,
Yeah, it's there.
Now it's there. Sir. Now it's there, sir.
Yeah.
It will come.
Hi,
Yes.
hi everyone. This is Chef Parminder Singh Tillon. I'm looking after the Department of Tourism and Hospitality Hotel Management, Punjabi University, Patiala. Now, this is a very, alarming topic or alarming, for the industry, that we are looking for the challenges and what next is going to come for the industry, how we can, develop and going for the growth of this industry. So that is how this is the topic, is that is the potential and challenges for the growth and the development.
1 second, Doctor Saab, I'm interrupting you because you mute all first.
Okay.
Mute all first because some sound is coming. Somebody is creating.
I'll do that, sir.
Yes, now Doctor Saab, you can. Doctor Saab, now you can unmute yourself. Dr. Parminder, now you can unmute.
विकास जी तुसी कर दो.
Let me see, sir. Dr. Parminder, are you unmute now? Dr. Parminder, can you hear me?
Sir, I can hear you.
Yeah, your voice is audible, sir. Please carry on and
Correct.
kindly share your full screen, sir. Make it full presentation F5, maybe if you can press.
Right.
Yes, Dr. Parminder, you can start.
Right, sir.
Okay, it's okay now.
Sir, this is about the COVID-19, as I told you, that the entire world is facing crisis. But in every crisis, there are opportunities, and we got to look after those opportunities and explore the potential, how we are going to, develop and grow this industry. Now, no doubt, the entire industry is hobbled by the pandemic, but we got to reevaluate and improvise certain practices. I believe when it comes to India, I believe there are certain, when we talk about food, when we talk about tourism and hospitality industry, especially the hotels, we always talk about HACCP, that is hazard analysis and critical control point. It is not being followed entirely, in the country. But we got to follow those standards. We got to improvise. We got to improve ourselves when it comes to hygiene. That is very, very important because hygiene is related to safety. Safety is related to the food. Nobody is going to come out of their homes with the food they consume if they are not, assured about that it is safe and hygienic. So we got to reevaluate. We got to improvise our practices, what all we are following in India. Then post-COVID era will be required to innovate by using more of technology. When it comes to hospitality and hotel sector, I believe we got to more, use the innovative techniques, as well as we got to use the technology more as compared to using more of the manpower. Because no doubt, as per the guidelines of the Ministry of Health as well as WHO, We're going to reduce the manpower, or as Dr. Roop also said, that a lot of manpower is going to, jobless. But when it comes to hotels, we got to, limit to our those standards, that we got to involve into those practices wherein technology can be enhanced and we can use more of technology as compared to the manpower. So let us talk about the front office. Let us talk about housekeeping operations. Let us talk about, the F&B and the kitchen even. So more and more technology can be used. More and more technology savvy training by the HR can be provided to the people, the manpower, so that they can be trained in those aspects, and we can always reduce that kind of interaction to the guest, or which we call it as social distancing. So tourism, when we talk about opportunities, be more domestic directed, as Dr. Roop also said, that domestic travel will be more enhanced, more, people will love to travel domestic, they won't be traveling outside their country, outside their region, or they would love to travel only with their family. They won't be traveling in the groups and all. This is as per the research and the data, what we have explored. Then luxury hotels, when we talk about luxury hotels, they may become cheaper and needs to reduce tariffs, and they got to offer more privilege to the guests, because until and unless you do not offer any privilege to the guests, especially in India, I must say, in India, when you talk about a guest, when you call a guest by his or her name, they feel more privileged. So you got to offer lot many privileges to the guests, especially in the luxury five-star hotels, so that they are attracted to that and they start traveling. They start, going in for the hotels. Then road trips may find great opportunity, because road trips, we always talk about that people travel with their family, with their if the couple is traveling and all, they always prefer to go by their own vehicle, by their own car and all. That is how I'm saying road trips may find great opportunity, because they'll love to travel with their family, not in the groups. Then when it comes to remote working, so innovation and technology, as I've already talked about, that people-centric industry is there. This industry is people-centric industry. So until and unless we do not involve the technology, we do not involve those aspects which are there, the guidelines we do not follow, and especially I must talk about, no, this is not there in the slide, I must talk about the sanitizing. There are certain health, safety, and there are certain other aspects which we need to follow and consider when we talk about food and beverage sector or hospitality or any hotels. So we got to adopt, we got to train, first of all, our manpower, our people, about how do we do about it? What are the SOPs we are going to, what are the standard operating procedures? Because that's going to be changed entirely. Even in academics, what we are teaching right now is going to be changed over a period of time. Because whatever we are teaching right now, it's not going to be the part of as per this pandemic. Because entire SOPs are going to be changed, and we need to adopt, we need to follow another, the social distancing norms and the SOPs issued by the Ministry of Health as well as the WHO. You got to follow all that, and even in academics, you got to teach the students in the next phase in the new manner. So these are the 5 key factors, the most important for the industry, I believe. What is first is hygiene. That is no compromise. Earlier in India, we used to compromise, as I told in my during the start of my presentation, that hygiene we used to compromise. But now there is going to be no compromise in the entire world, especially in India. There's no going to be any compromise. Second is about the safety, both perception and reality. Whatever the guests perceive and whatever you offer them, they're going to compare it, and that is how it is going to increase. That is how it is going to bring in another opportunity for the hotel industry. Then health. Government will introduce reality checks. Then health, no doubt, is there. We got to adopt those standards, as I told about HACCP and all other norms we got to follow in all our hotels, even in academics, even in hospitality industry, even in hospitality college, even in industry, wherein food practices are there, the food manufacturing industries are there. Then you talk about brands. You got to ensure quality, and that is how you're going to win. That is going to be the new mantra in industry. You got to ensure all these qualities. You got to ensure health. You got to ensure safety. You got to ensure hygiene. That is how you're going to do well. Then value. The new mantra will be good quality for good quality. You got to adopt all those quality features. You got to offer all those perceptions as per the perceptions of the guest. You got to follow and introduce everything in a new phase, in a new manner, with a new reality checks. That is how you're going to improve. Now, this is about the certain pledge. What we can take about is sanitation pledge. Yes, definitely we got to adopt, different measures and food safety, then basic medical protection. We got to ensure all those masks, gloves, sanitizer, and all. We got to, no doubt. When we talk to the hospitality sector and the hotel industry, definitely there is going to be a sharp decline in the restaurant as well as in the banqueting. But definitely the government is also promoting, the room service. So we got to induce more of those features, more of those, industry aspects into our colleagues, into our manpower also, that we got to train them that how they are going to handle, the food safety standards as compared to when they are going to offer it to the room service. So next is focus will be on meal delivery from the hotel restaurant. Yes, definitely home delivery, like we talked about Zomato and all those service providers who are taking care of all these home delivery aspects. Definitely they are going to improve, but certainly we are going to adopt more of the specific measures, more of the specific standards, what we talk about HACCP and all other mandatory, guidelines which have been issued by WHO and Ministry of Health. Then we got to reconsider existing health and safety techniques, policies and procedures, which we have already talked about. That means what we can, go in for is self-service spaces, order through mobile apps. So maximum usage of technology can be adopted so that there is social distancing and there is non-contact service when we talk about the delivery of the order of the food, even in the restaurants as well as in the banquet or maybe in the room service. So complementary hand sanitizers can be, you can introduce suspension of unnecessary workplace gatherings. So all these features, all these aspects can be adopted so that we can improve, we can, have some certain more opportunities for our sales. Then stay up to date on available forms of relief. So we got to adopt all the measures because it's entirely a prediction. It's entirely a prediction. We are just predicting that this is going to be there. This is how we can do. This is how we can, move ahead. But it's entirely a prediction. So we got to follow all the WHO guidelines, Ministry of Health of Government of India guidelines, so that we can move accordingly, and we got to follow all those guidelines as per our wishes. Then challenges are we got to consider working through technology. Well, let me tell you one thing that when we are having this international conference on Zoom, it was not there, 6 months, 5 months back. Nobody knew about it. It is only because of this pandemic or because of this particular kind of situation that academics as well as the industry is interacting. So that we are interacting on this platform just because that we have this necessity, we have this challenge. We got to consider that we got to adopt this technology. That is how we are doing it. Then norms for the service the guests have to be modified. We got to modify the norms. हमने कैसे सर्विस करना है उसको गेस्ट को कैसे सर्व करना है and all that. We got to entirely change that. What I've told you about the academics and even in the industry, they're going to adopt new standards, new norms. Hygiene, definitely, no doubt, as I'm mentioning again and again, has to be in the front line. Then exciting privilege needs to be ensured with the guests. We got to offer more and more privilege when we talk to luxury 5-star hotels. So all SOPs needs to be reconsidered. We got to consider all the operating procedures. Again, we got to consider as per the guidelines of the WHO as well as the Ministry. So that was my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Parminder, giving the insights about the potential challenges for the growth and development of hospitality and the tourism industry in India particularly. So I think many challenges are also there, but certain new avenues are also opening Now we are all saying that we have to live with this COVID-19 for a longer period of time. So it needs
Exactly.
some kind of innovations in this area, and we have to be people centric now. And proper standard operating procedures need to be there. We have to ensure the hygiene, we have to ensure the safety, we have to work on the brand values. Various pledges need to be taken in this industry also, because this is going to directly affect the health of the people, because unless and until we care about their health and safety, they are not going to come to you. So even the small restaurants and dhabas in the small villages and in the roads, in the in between the areas, they are also now thinking to ensure all these, because earlier at the small scale level we were not aware about it and people were using it and taking it just granted. So now we have to be very, very careful about
Mm.
all these things. So I hope your suggestions, they are going to be taken care of. We have to connect technologically. We have to ensure the hygiene at the front line. This is a very, very important aspect which we need to consider. So now our next guest speaker and invited speaker is our chef Sanjeev Verma ji, who is the owner of the Pashtun restaurant Chandigarh. He is experiencing all these. We have joined with us Dr. Sanjay Kaushik because we were waiting for us. After that, we will listen Sanjeev Shah Verma ji. So now I request Dean College Development Council, Punjab University, Chandigarh. He's a very good friend of ours. He's always associated with the Punjab Commerce and Management Association, particularly professor in the University Business School, Punjab University, Chandigarh. He has done a research on various areas and also dealing with this area also. So I request Dr. Sanjay Kaushik to deliberate on this issue. He was to give inaugural address because of some change in the schedule. According to his busyness schedule, now he has joined us. Dr. Sanjay Kaushik, Dean College Development Council, Punjab University, Chandigarh.
Thank you, Dr. Ashwini Ballaji. So good, once again, I am with PCMA. So good to be with you all. Dr. Ashwini Bhalla, who is the president of PCMA, Dr. B.B. Singla, vice president PCMA, all are good friends, Dr. Vikas Deepji, and Dr. Prem Kumar, probably, he would be with us, or I am not able to see if he is there. My regards to him as well. Dr. Gulshan Sharma, Chef Sanjeev Verma ji, Dr. Praminder Singh Dillon, we heard him just now, and Ms. Roop Gill, and everyone associated with this webinar. So good to be more so, very apt title for which we are all here. The potential and challenges for growth and development of hospitality and tourism industry. We all know what is going on around, and when I was hearing just now, before even Dr. Bhalla spoke, and before that as well, Dr. Pravinder spoke, whatever is going on, probably we need to re-evaluate and improvise. And then it was said that, hygiene, safety, brands, values, we need to take care. I just this is happening with everyone. I got a call yesterday. There's a general manager in a big hotel in Chandigarh, and he called up to say that he want to find a new job, and he was asking me if I could help him in getting a new job. And he said the reason is that most of the people who were working in the hotel, they have been removed because of whatever we know is going on for the past 3 months. And even that general manager is now forced to work for all the domains, including serving in the rooms. And he says that, it is actually unbecoming and he wants to shift. So wanted a new job. But then this is not a segregated, isolated case. And of course, not only for hotel industry or the tourism industry, probably most of industries are facing the same. But then this is indicative of one thing, that something which is very unusual, something which is out of the box has to be thought of and then implemented, and then probably we'll be able to, only then probably we'll be able to survive. The figures which we say because of pandemic, the figures are not very encouraging when we talk of the losses to the economies all over the world. Bloomberg had projected the loss of $2.7 trillion, which is equivalent to UK economy. But then this figure has passed on much ahead than $2.7 billion. And when we talk of the impact this COVID-19 is having, one good thing out of this is that probably every industry is not badly hit. There are certain industries which, when we compare it with the hotel and tourism, probably have been better. For example, ICT is there. You go to the market and you talk concerning ICT, computers, mobiles. The industries are much happier because of online, things have started in a big fashion. But then even those industries are thinking that to stay on what is to be done. And here, when we are talking the hotel and tourism industry, what we are experiencing right now actually is not the first time that the economies are experiencing. This is not the first time that a pandemic is there and suddenly we start saying that as if everything has lost. No. These kind of bad and ugly experiences have already been there, with all of us. But then probably we have been able to come out. This tourism and hotel industry, which is hardest hit by pandemic, if we remember 1918, 1920, Spanish flu was there. H1N1 swine flu from 2009-10, that period was there. Ebola virus 2014-16 was there. Spanish flu actually restricted the travel for 4 months, thereby affecting the industry hugely in a bad manner. Mexican tourism, it was hardest hit, which is we all know. And when we talk tourism industry, what we say about tourism industry is vector as well as the victim of the virus. Vector as well as the victim. Vector, because when we talk tourism, because when we move from one place to other place, from one state to other state, from one country to other country, the experience now also we have seen that there are carriers, people carry this virus along with them, and then this is spread to different places. So it's a vector. But then because of this only, it's a victim also. Because of this, when the carrier of this virus is done, then people have stopped moving. There are the lockdowns by the government, the state government, central government. They are asking you to stay inside, don't move outside. Even when we go outside, the physical, what we now call as social distancing, actually should be the physical distancing. The physical distancing is always set. We need to make. Now, both the things going simultaneously, vector and the victim. Now, this means when something of this we observe, is a testimony to the fact that we can bring something good out of it. We can always bring something good out of it. And, we have experienced for the past 3 months, whatever the problem we are going on with, actually, the media has also, has played a role where on one side we say it's a very positive role. They have been telling us time and again what to do and what not to do, and everyone is glued to TV and all the other means of media. But at the same time, media has generated that kind of fear which has stopped us moving from one place to other, and that is why this tourism and hotel industry hardest hit. Occupancy right now, before me was also being talked, has been reduced to the lowest level of the hotels. Movements have been reduced to the lowest level. But then, as we always say, loss might be a gain to something. Environment has gained a lot because of this. We have observed this also. In the month of June and May, these May and June have generally been very, very warm. But this year, we all must have noticed that both these months are not that warmer. So many rains in the month of June have never been experienced, but because the environmental, because of whatever, the pollution has gone down because of the people moving on their vehicles to the lowest extent. And that is why pollution has gone down and environment has improved. And because environment has improved, again signifies that people would like to move and travel to other places. So again, a good sign. Hotels, as has already been talked, has been very hard hit. But when we say COVID coronavirus disease, and we also talk for the hotels and tourism industry that we need to follow these strategies, and those strategies again we can put it as COVID. And when we hear we call it as, because those of us when we talk strategies, we say these are those actions which are drafted looking into the competition. And now, because huge effect, negative effect has been there because of this COVID-19, and those hotels and tourism organizations which would be able to survive, now they have to have the best of strategies. And of course, within those organizations, the competition would be there. And that is why the word strategies we are using. So we say COVID-19 has affected us a lot, but COVID-19 strategies need to be adopted. And here, when we say COVID strategies, C stands for cost-cutting measures, O stands for orderliness, V stands for virtualization, I stands for integration, and D stands for domestication. And to some extent on the similar lines, before me, our honorable speaker was talking to some extent on the similar lines. Cost-cutting measures, without this, we won't be able to survive. You talk anything in the hotel and the tourism industry, we are talking. HR, cost-cutting has to be there. Probably the same number of employees, and the estimate says 50. When in terms of figures we talk, the loss of jobs, there's a huge loss of jobs in the tourism industry, and that is to the extent that 50 million jobs, 50 million in one industry have been, the estimation that people would be losing the jobs. 50 million is a big number. Now, this means that when huge number of jobs would be lost, when we won't be require more number of people, then the HR strategies, when we say cost cutting strategies, HR cost cutting strategies we need to have. With lesser number of people, we should be able to work. And that is why now this is said that there's a time now, you will see very soon robots entering into the hotels and tourism industry. Robots. Not a very good sign because we know it when we, robots are replaced, and the robots are placed and the people are replaced. It is not a good sign. But then this is it. Technology, without technology, we won't be able to survive. And robots, when the robots would be working, so you can imagine one robot can work 24 hours, 365 days. And one robot would be able to work for so many people. But then, if robots are working, of course, I was just hearing standard operating procedures, the kind of operations this robot would be doing probably might be better than the human hands. Though, again, I'm saying it, not a very good sign. But then we have to go by the cost cutting measures one. HR we were talking here. And you talk marketing, you talk finance, you talk production, you talk operations, you talk anything. We have to use the latest available ICT methods. And those methods, when used, I know would be giving the best of the services. And when the people would get the best of the services, I think, things would be much easier. And that is here, there is one, good outcome of this, or the result of this would be, we need to promote even the government, and we need to promote the startups, those who would help in the tourism and hotel industry. We must be knowing, there is a company by the name Sitata. Now, this company, Sitata, this is actually a company working in the disruption management. And this company, which is working in the disruption management, it offers a mobile-based platform that provides travelers, with the pro-trip health and safety advice, real-time monitoring of travel disruptions, and automated safety checkups. Now, these kind of companies we need to actually promote, which would be helping the tourism and hotel industry. And that is why when we say opportunities, in a way, probably one of the opportunities for us. And then when we say for order liners, even the worthy speaker was talking, the sanitization, the physical distancing, all that we need to take care of that. Virtualization, that's what ICT, that's what we are doing right now. ICT, and that is why we need to invest more and more in the field of ICT. We need to invest more and more, which can help us, reducing this physical distance, and which can provide probably the similar kind of, whatever the benefits we always have been when we have the physical contacts as well. Online travel agents like Expedia, we all know, bookings.com, and so forth, these kind of online media travel agents should be encouraged and also should be used. And probably when we say that a lot of disruptions have happened, a lot of problems have been there in hotel and tourism industry, and a lot of problems occurring. But probably what I feel, this technology would be savior for us. And what this hotel and tourism industry, of course, from all the age groups, we have always been saying that from call it from 2 years age to probably 82 years age, we need to focus that we need to attract those travelers. But probably now this is a time for the shorter period, especially millennials. Millennials are those who are born between 1981 to 1996. These this age group we need to target more, because this is the age group, these are the millennials who love to go out more, and they love to explore the world and so on and so forth. And as it was said earlier also, the hotel maintenance and renovations should be taken care of. The deliveries by the hotels has to be very good. We have to be spot on in having the best of the contact with all those potential travelers and all those people who would be visiting these hotels. I would like to conclude by saying a couple of things. Whatever is going on around, we all know that very well. The hotel and tourism industry, as I said earlier also, is the vector and the victim of this. Everything is fine. But two things we need to bear in mind. And those two things probably we need to follow as well. One, not to demoralize. This is a kind of industry, I have said earlier also, we have seen these kind of pandemics earlier also. And a huge impact has earlier also has been there on hotels and tourism. But we have been able to fight that and come out to the extent which was there 3 months before. And now also we will be able to bounce back. So let us not get demoralized, and we need to, with that enthusiasm and zeal, we need to fight this and come out. And, the best of the positive frame of mind probably would help us even moving out and exploring as we have been doing 3 months before. So one. And secondly, of course, take precautions. With the precautions as a visitor, and from the hoteliers and tourism industry side, we need to put more focus on the safety, health, and well-being of the travelers and those people who visit the hotels. That means in advance. So all those kind of strategies, like if we talk the insurance for the visitors, that can be done, so that those people who move out are a bit, to some extent, are fearless. And I know those practices we are adopting, which we are adopting at home, if the hotels and tourism industry can have that even in their hotels and tourist spots, where when the people move to their spots, all those the health exercises should also be encouraged, so that when we move out, the similar concern which we have for our health and safety is going. So very apt title on which this webinar is being done. Very aptly things are being discussed. My best wishes, with this hope that this industry would bounce back and with great results, this would bounce back. And I know this is a very short period where probably bad things are being experienced, but in the times to come and for a longer period of time, if we want to survive, let us build on right now. It's all competition. Let us increase that domestic tourism. Hopefully things would be better. Thank you very much, PCMA, for calling me and making me a part of this webinar. Thank you, Ashwini Bhallaji, Singlaji, Vikasji, and everyone concerned with this. Thank you very much. God bless you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjay, for giving your valuable inputs. And Your discourse has given so many questions to us because I was just studying about the Himachal Pradesh. Around 50,000 homestays are working in that. It is apart from the hotel industries. And you have talked about the occupancy level, and their occupancy level is almost zero. The people has just built 2 rooms, 3 rooms, 4 rooms in their houses, and they were serving to the people. They were serving not only the rooms but also the various kinds of meals from day to night and earning their livelihood. So now it has become to zero. I have asked certain persons who were running the homestays. They said they are now surviving on the farm activities, and their situation is very very miserable in the state of Himachal Pradesh. Same maybe in the northeastern states also. So when you was delivering, various suggestions were coming from the participants also. They say that special operative permits for small restaurants should be there during this lockdown period also, because earlier we talked to Rajban Singh, who is running Veg Delights restaurants in the Australia particularly, and he said that during this lockdown period our standard operating procedure which were earlier in place also before the COVID also, we have to think it out now that when this situation is going to be over or may not be over very soon, but you have to develop the SOP for the lifetime. So it is not for that because earlier we were taking it granted, because you may have seen roadside dhabas, there were no cleanliness at that time. But now we have to work with caution. You have given the COVID as a strategy. So I appreciate your feelings that COVID is itself a strategy. That means see here means caution, but with cost cutting also, so that you can compete with others. Opportunities you have to convert. Oh, here mean opportunities, because this crisis has given you so many opportunities. We have to think innovatively regarding this. We here, I think, vividness, you have to bring variety with the virtual platform. That is the need of the hour. I here is intelligence, that may be artificial intelligence using technology, that you have to bring in your approach. And D here, finally, the hospitality industry, hotel industries for delight, because unless you give that delight and satisfaction to your customer in terms of safety, in terms of their needs, you cannot survive in the future. So very valuable and useful inputs you have given, sir. So I hope this is going to be a landmark for the industry also. So thank you very much, Dr. Kaushik. I know that you have to arrange in the evening another meeting. We are also part of it.
And an invitation to all of you as well.
Yes, we are also going to be part of it, because this is a nation building program and all are united with each other. So thank you so much.
Correct. Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you.
Now I request Chef Sanjeev Verma, who is owner of Pashtun Restaurants in Chandigarh and is very actively running it, and he may have encountered with some kinds of issues during this period. So I request Sanjeev ji to deliberate on this issue. Yes, Sanjeev ji, can you hear me?
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you.
My video is not playing, so my phone.
No issue. No issue. Your sweet picture is on the board, and we can.
Okay. Thank you so much. Look, I've been running this. I've been in this industry for the last 37 years and never seen such kind of a disruption. This has come as a big jolt to anyone who's in this industry. I will not be talking about the hotel and hospitality and the tourism industry as a whole, because I'm not into it. I'm only into the restaurant. So I'll probably be wanting to tell you more about the restaurant industry as such, and to tell you more about restaurant post-COVID. Right? It is a very what the experts down or change hands or be under deep distress. Yes, to go through years, restaurateurs, 4C, the near.
Sir, could you check your audio, please?
That
Sir, could you check your Chef Verma, sir, could you check your audio, please?
Doctor, he is joining again.
I think he's left. Let me check, sir. He's not there, sir. I think he'll be joining again, sir.
So
he got disconnected, sir.
So in the meantime, we can listen Dr. Charan, chairman of the School of Management Studies, Punjabi University. Yeah, he has joined. He has joined. He's there, sir.
I'm so sorry. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
I'm sorry, there was a Wi-Fi disconnection, so I could not share it with you. Yes, now the work culture is going to change. What we have noticed over a period of time is that this was going to happen slowly but surely, that there were more managers in the hotel and the restaurants, and they were not working managers. So now there'll be actually working managers. Probably the manager is not just going to wish you, greet you and say bye-bye to you. Those managers will actually serve you. You see, there will be no supervisors like captains. The waiters will do the supervisory job, and whatever administrative jobs should be done by the computers now, like taking their attendance and marking their shifts and so on and so forth. That would be done by a software. It was going to happen. We were overly staffed by all standards of the industry. In case you talk, whenever a foreign dignitary or a foreign restaurateur or a chef used to come, and used to be surprised the amount of staff we used to have in our restaurants and our hotel industry. To give you a small example, the entire world hotel industry runs on a 1:1.5 ratio of labor. That means that if there is a 100-room hotel, there will be approximately 150 staff. But in India, the ratio is 1:4. That means for a 100-room hotel, there are a staff of 400 people. So the same is the case which is going to happen with the hospitality industry. The staff strength is going to be overutilized. No more luxury staffing like have a doorman to open your gate or to have a driver to park your car and so on and so forth. These luxury which we are living in today are going to go out of the window, or they are going to be so very expensive that you are not going to afford it, or only the super rich can afford it. Today, even a middle class is affording that kind of luxury. The fourth point is that more projects will be given to people rather than employing them on a fixed cost. Something like marketing. I mean, most restaurants have one marketing manager and a marketing executive. Now these things will be given to smaller companies where people will do startups for consultancy, for my marketing, for all other smaller jobs in which we do not require a full-time person. Right? The advantage of this would be that the other company or a smaller company can take up 5 restaurants, 6 restaurants and earn better money rather than being on a fixed salary. Smaller will be the new norm in the fine dining sector. You see, the big restaurants which are already there now will be the smaller restaurants, let's say a 50-cover restaurant or a 70-cover restaurant would be ideal rather than 150 covers or 300 covers, is because the infrastructure cost would matter a lot in the post-COVID era, especially for the next 2 to 3 years. I mean, I don't foresee for the next 2 years very, very huge restaurants surviving. I'll give you an example. The big hotel had a central AC, a central air conditioning plant. And that air conditioning plant, the general manager was telling me, is 300 tons of air conditioning. Now he says, I'm occupying only 5 rooms today. He says, my expense per day of electricity just to run that air conditioning is about 9,500 rupees. He says, I don't even get that kind of money just to run my air conditioning. So smaller is the new norm in the fine dining sector. Also forget about the hotels. This should be the norm. Look, nobody can predict about post-COVID, but we're all discussing about post-COVID. The next point which I would like to say is that customer trust, to make him feel safe in the times of COVID, that is the hygiene level should be anybody in the hospitality industry who can manage somehow to take that trust on will survive in this industry. And this is going to be the new yes for all customers, because most of us for the next, let's say, couple of years to come, we'll have to increase our hygiene standards, especially जैसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, हाथी के दांत हैं दिखाने वाले होने चाहिए. So, you got to have those elephant teeth where you'll have to show them what it is. Like live sanitization, display of UV lights, gloves, all these things you'll have to show it to the guest. You'll have display kitchens for all it matters to you, because जब तक आप उनको दिखाएंगे नहीं वो बेच नहीं पाएंगे. You will not be able to sell it till the time you cannot show it. So you got to understand live will be the main buzzword. In fact, some restaurants are also keeping cameras in their kitchen with television sets outside so that the customer can see how healthy and sanitized food they're producing, so that there's no doubt in the customer's mind that they can come to this restaurant on a very safe note. Also, the elbow room and the seating area the per square feet area, what we used to require was about 11 square feet. Now would come to about 16 to 18 square feet per person in a restaurant. So we got to understand that not every customer would be happy going into a congested restaurant. So your restaurants will be more spaced out. Your seating arrangements, your plans will be again remapped. Your waiters will be the new housekeepers. Your new sweepers will be your waiters. They will be cleaning and sanitizing the place more than serving, because service, the customer will have to do it themselves. It is a contact, the least contact. They will not be serving to you. They will just be keeping the plates there. Cutlery, probably for the next 1 year, will be a throwaway cutlery, non-reusable cutlery, which will go straight into the dustbin, probably made out of, no more plastics now, but wooden, probably leaves or maybe some other material which can be recycled but not reused. Plates also maybe for throwaway for a lot of restaurants, or they will come in a carry-away container like what you get in McDonald's and Pizza Hut. Okay, the kitchen display kitchens would be in fashion. Live cooking would be in fashion with a barrier. Live kitchen with a barrier, I mean a glass would be there or some barrier would be there. Screens in live kitchen we've already discussed. Local products and producers will be the name of the game. You see, things coming from outside would still have a fear whether they're contaminated or not. Something like what's just recently happened in China for the second wave of the pandemic. They're blaming the salmon got from Norway. So the local produced item will be considered more safer by the customer, would be wanting to give more local produce. Also, it will also reduce the cost of production for the restaurant. The menu will be shortened. You see, we used to have a very huge 10-page menu in most restaurants. So for maintaining a high level of hygiene, we cannot afford to have that many products in our menu. So the menu would be shortened also. Technology will be the buzzword. Technology will be the buzzword. There will be more of technology-based food production, including refrigerators which are timed, which have a electronic display of their timer of their freezing system. Then the dishwashers, which would be certified by the government of India or by the companies, that when the washed product comes out of it, it is already sanitized. And there will be so many other technology-based functions which I'll discuss in my next coming slide, which will also be a part of all these things. Contactless dining, there'll be a lot of emphasis on contactless dining. A lot of people have already converted their menus into WhatsApp. The bill we present will also be sent to them on a WhatsApp or on an app which the restaurant develops of its own. The payment will be on Google Pay. The payment will be on Pcma. There'll be a lot of electronics and a lot of internet which will be used. Digital improvisation into the restaurants will also be there for a very long time to come. I don't see this going back. I only see this going forward rather than going back. I'm sorry, quarantine foods. Quarantine frozen is the new fresh. You see, what even the WHO and the FSSI and the government of India is saying, that if your food is frozen, the chances of coronavirus or any other virus being there gets reduced to a bare minimum. So frozen would be a preferred choice for a lot of restaurateurs to, instead of taking in fresh food from the market. Also, stores and purchase and supply line would change dramatically. Stores and purchase, by stores and purchase, I mean that I would, as a restaurateur, would personally go to my suppliers, go down and see if he's following the right standard of hygiene. Supply chain, whether that supplier is supplying it to me in the right prospect of whether his supply method and technology is being used. This will be also a big norm in the coming days for me to decide where and how I get my product from. Receiving will also change. How I receive my goods will also change to the extent that I will be sanitizing all my food through a sanitizing methodology by using all different kinds of, people have a right to use all kinds of chemicals they have to, which are approved by the government of India or by the WHO, so that the food which I'm storing, the raw material which I'm storing, should also be sanitized. And last, I'm not wanting to take too much of your time, but the takeaway will be the new normal. A lot of people will want, at least for the coming 1 year or 2 years, would want to take their food home rather than sitting in a crowded restaurant. So takeaway, there'll be great emphasis on takeaway. People will decipher new ways, new recipes, new combinations for takeaway. Packaging to play a new normal. The packaging would be at least 5 times higher level than what it should be. Cloud kitchens, or what we call the ghost kitchens, or should be boosting. There will be a umpteen number of kitchens which are called the ghost or the dark kitchens, in which they're only very hygienic kitchens which are operating from industrial areas or basements or places which do not have a place to sit. Automation or contactless food production, mechanized food production, something like making pizzas on a roller chain, making a dosa without touching your hands, and these kind of food factories would pop up in the coming future. I hope I've been able to tell you all my points in a very small presentation, which I actually just made right now, because I didn't know I was actually supposed to put it on a PPT. So while Dr. Roop was giving her lecture, I was making this PPT. Thank you very much. Stay safe. I hope it was useful to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Chef Sanjeev Verma ji. So I request you to please stop your screen share so that we can move ahead. So thank you, Sanjeev ji, for giving a valuable inputs in this regard. And I think you have presented the gist of this conference. When we started this conference, in the beginning, the remarks were that we have to move to the new normal. And how we have to move, that you have presented in your presentation. That is, we have to change the work culture, because earlier so many things were happening which may not be very necessary from standard operating procedure from point of view. So smaller will be the new norm in the fine dine sector. That is a very, very important issue. You have talked about live sanitization. You have talked about display kitchen, because everybody is worried how the foods are cooked in the restaurants. The people are very, very worried that if they are not going to affect it, thus confidence building measure is required. And I hope this will give a boost to this hotel industry sector. So seating area needs to be sanitized. And apart from that, you have talked about cutlery and other things which needs to be sterilized, and disposable way of doing, we have to work it out. So contactless dining, we are talking about quarantine food. You have given so many takeaways. So thank you very much, sir. I hope this will be a lesson for all of us. So now I request Dr. Gurcharan Singh ji, who is the chairman of the School of Management Studies, Punjabi University, Patiala. And he is always a partner of PCMA activities, always give us boost. So he's there. So we have to get his remarks also. Dr. Gurcharan. Sir, you can unmute, yes.
Thank you, Dr. Palla. Dr. Prem Kumar ji has joined us. Dr. Saab, Sat Shri Akal. Dr. Prem Kumar ji, Dr. Ashwini Palla, Dr. BB Singla, Dr. Vikas, Chef Parminder Tillon, Chef Sanjeev Verma. I was listening, and Roop also. I had listened to all the presentations. Roop has majorly discussed about the customization of the products now after COVID. Chef Sanjeev Sharma has gone into the micro level of change of culture now in hotel industry. Chef Parminder Tillon was talking about macro level changes in hospitality industry. I am there to share with you at least the scenario of tourism and hospitality industry at global level and at least at India level, so that our participants can understand what kind of impact actually had happened, is happening to our tourism and hospitality industry. When we see a global tourism, Now, global tourism have grown at 3.9% and is contributing record US dollar 8.8 trillion to the world economy. And with the jobs, 319 million jobs at the world level. Now, this is a scenario before COVID. When we take another scenario of global tourism is that US, Spain, France on highest tourism. Thereby, India is yet to have a takeoff for this reason. But let's go for some scenario of India as well. Now, I look upon the data, there are foreign tourist arrival which stood at 10.89 million during 2019 with a growth rate of 3.20 year over year. Now, that is a data which has been given by World Travel and Tourism Council. The foreign exchange earnings are US dollar 29.96 billion with a growth rate of 4.80 again year over year, meaning thereby previous year towards the current year. Another issue with our tourism is in India, the kind of tourism which is happening is what are the areas? There is a rural tourism, there is the adventure tourism, there is a medical tourism, there is a heritage tourism, there is a luxury tourism, there is a eco-tourism, there is a pilgrimage tourism. Now, these are various kinds of tourisms which are happening in India. And the tourism industry is contributing towards Indian GDP, almost 9.2%. Now, that is the biggest contribution of one industry towards the GDP. And more so over is 42.673 million jobs are there in this tourism industry in India, which are almost equivalent to 8.1% of the total population. It can be direct or indirect employment. Sorry, I'm talking about total employment. Direct or indirect employment. Now, one of the estimate of effect on tourism and hospitality industry during this COVID and after COVID. One of the estimate. One organization is that is Indian Brand Equity Foundation. Now they have estimated that there is going to be a revenue loss of 5 trillion during this COVID period to tourism and travel industry, tourism and hospitality industry. And the loss would be around 35 to 40 million jobs. Again, direct and indirect both. As Sanjeev Verma was talking about, he was talking about more of a restaurant level things. I'm giving you another data that there is 65% decline in occupancy rate is there during this COVID period in the hotel industry. He referred to that now more focus is going to be on hygiene. More focus is going to be on, is going to be a challenge that how you are going to convince to your customer that everything is as per their wish, everything is as per their desires, and they are more safe in their desired destination. This is going to be a major challenge. Another challenge, I hope, which I am a frequent traveler also. The major challenge is going to be, even if you induct technology, you are going to have a artificial intelligence also. You are going to give them that kind of experience that if you are sitting on a screen, you can touch that boat, you can touch that virtual museum, you can touch that person, you can have a feel that some tree is in front of you and that tree is zooming with the airs. That artificial intelligence would be there. But can you have that kind of feel which your heart feels when you are actually in the real scenario? That miss is going to be a major challenge for tourism and hospitality industry. That is one. Two, there are number of paraphernalia which is linked with the tourism and hospitality industry. There are tour and travel operators, there are travel agents, there is a transport, there is a hotel, there is a restaurants, there are number of local level dhabas. All are dependent on this industry. All are dependent. And the most difficult challenge today is government is asking you with advisories that don't come out of your houses. And if you are not coming out of your houses, how you are going to sustain and survive these organizations which are basically dependent on these tour industry. That is the biggest challenge, at least for me. I'll try to move even in my own car. Let's say I'll try in my own car. But where I'm going, what kind of environment of safety and hygiene I'll get, that is going to be a biggest question in my mind, in my family's mind. 3, if I move to that place, I get all sanitized things, how I can ensure that the people who is serving me is out of COVID. He is not infected with COVID. That is, you see, service can be done with a sanitized environment. But the person who is serving you, I cannot identify whether he is infected. The person can be asymptomatic. The person, if he is symptomatic, he will be out of the scene. But asymptomatic, nobody can identify. As a literate person, I hope this is going to be a biggest challenge for this industry to convince the customer, to convince the visitor, to convince the traveler that they are safe with the environment which is provided to their desire and to their wish, and also the organization which is giving them these services, they are offering them to the best of their abilities, whatever a safe and hygiene environment can do. And for these, I really thank PCMA, which have given me a time to share my views. I also appreciate that these kind of activities at least create an awareness amongst the participants, at least creates a platform to share your views and come out with some kind of policy, what you call perspectives. I really appreciate this organization PCMA for doing this wonderful job, and the kind of sharing which have been done by Roop, the kind of sharing have been shared by Chef Sanjeev Verma, Chef Parminder Tillon, and also by Professor Sanjay Kaushik. Really wonderful. Thank you very much. God bless all.
Thank you, Dr. Gurcharan, for giving your inputs. So the conclusion or takeaway from your talk is that we have to create a confidence building measures. Otherwise, unless and until there is a confidence in the minds of the people, they will not go to the hotels and restaurants. And the same is the situation in the Ludhiana also. We are observing many restaurant owners, dhaba owners, they are complaining that people are not ordering these days because they have a fear of whatever you have expressed in their mind, that the person who is preparing the food, person who is serving the food, and from where they are going to get all these things, whether it is going to serve them in a proper manner or not, with sanitization, or whether that person is affected by COVID or not. So these are the certain issues which need to be tackled, and I think the government intervention and the bodies which are dealing with the standard operating procedures need to be strictly followed, because as we are going to open our educational institutions, that in that case also we have to ensure whether our all teachers who are coming to the colleges, whether they are corona free or not, whether the students who are coming to the educational institution are corona free or not. Or similarly, in the hotel hospitality industry, we have to ensure that the customer who is coming, whether that is corona free or not, or whether asymptomatic or customer who is coming who is not having any kind of feeling but still he is affected, these kinds needs to be ensured. So mass level of I think testing is required. We must ensure that everybody, every citizen of this country need to be tested corona. Otherwise, we are not going to cope it up. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. So now we are going to the person who is actually at the helm of affair of these kind of policies which are prepared for the service industry, aviation industry. That is Dr. Gulshan Sharma. He is the Director General, International Chamber of Service Industry. He's dealing with all these things, traveled miles in various countries, and daily conducting seminars right from 8 a.m. in the morning to the 10 p.m. in the night. And I talked him yesterday midnight at 11, and he was just preparing for another kind of seminar. So, Dr. Gulshan Sharma, I request you to deliver your address.
Most respected Dr. Ashwini Bhallaji, Dr. B.B. Singlaji, Dr. Vikas Deepji, fellow panelists and distinguished guests, a large participant, and I'm so happy that through my Facebook, we are sharing this program with more than 30,000 people world over. So let me just get into the ecosystem. Something very interesting. I'll start on a positive note, but then I would like to give you the correct picture also, because when you deal with the industry from within, hearing Sanjeev after a long time, it was a treat to my ears, eyes, mind, cerebrum, everything. Now, first of all, I'm grateful to the Honorable Minister for MSME, Nitin Gadkari ji, and Finance Minister of India, Nirmala Sitharaman ji. For the 2 years, we have done lots of homework with the Ministry of MSME, Government of India, that services sector to be brought at par with manufacturing sector. And the package which was announced by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, in that they clearly mentioned that now there is no disparity between manufacturing sector and services sector. So that is the first battle which we won. So that is on a positive note I'm starting. When I get to the theoretical and practical, both the parts of it, way back in 1987, when I was with the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India in the center, we used to have a diploma in hotel management. And diploma is not much appreciated in the psyche and the psychographic analysis in India. So I discussed with the Indira Gandhi Open University that why don't you have 1 or 2 programs of your own, and we bring travel and tourism with the hotel industry, and let's have a degree program. So the best part was that we changed the diploma into a degree program. Secondly, God always gives you some opportunities in life. I joined Indian Army. I wanted to retire from there, never wanted to be a teacher, never wanted to be in education. I was a backbencher, very, very poor student. If today I have to appear for 12th class, I'll not be able to pass. I don't know how we must have passed the higher secondary. It used to be 11th class. So I'm sitting among intellectuals, but I wish to talk something very practical. One is the theoretical part of it, the academic part of it, and second is what actually is happening on the ground. Hearing Sanjeev Verma, he is next to my heart, and when I heard him, each and every word what he mentioned over there was very practical, which he has given. But ladies and gentlemen, let me give the entire ecosystem. 1988, I drafted the first MBA tourism program, the curriculum, each and every content, including the comma and the full stops. And 1990, India, I started on behalf of Ministry of Tourism. The first MBA tourism, you call it MBA, you call it MTM, you call it any name you can give it, but first time the MBA tourism started in India in 1990. Now, I also set up the Institute for the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, that's called IITTM, Indian Institute of Travel and Tourism Management, and which has got branches throughout India now at present. When I go to different states, I see all of that. Now, let me come from this entire scenario to the practical world ecosystem of tourism cannot be taken in isolation. It's a complete ecosystem that is your hospitality, tourism, airlines, and add-on activities which have to be combined with this. And when you take in totality, all depends on 3A factor, the whole universe. Because today I smile as a major when I became the casualty and my medical category became down. And I had no option than to go beyond major in the army. So they told that either you have some side tributary, do something, or you got to be medically boarded out. So I managed to get 5-year posting. I went abroad, did my master's and my PhD. When I went to the professor, the head of the international department, I told him one thing. I said, sir, is there any subject where you have not to study? is there any subject where you have not to study? He looked at me and he laughed. He says, you come tomorrow morning, give me 24 hours because you have put such a question which I am not in a position to reply. I said, sir, let's be practical. He says, you come tomorrow morning. Next day, 10 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen, I went over there. And when I went over there, he told me, yes, there is one subject where you have not to study. I said, tell me, what is that subject? I'm dying to take that subject. He told, there is a post-graduation in holiday and leisure tourism. I said, Punjab mein, it's known as Sair Sapata department. I don't know who has coined that department. It should not be called Sair Sapata because it gives a different chronology altogether, because a lot of hard work is being put in. It's not only Sair Sapata. But anyway, once we came to know that I can get an admission into the masters, I'm vouching and I'm sharing with all of you this evening. I did not write a single word from any textbook. Whatever I studied in the college, in the university, I wrote what I felt about tourism, and I read all the books of the tourism like a novel. And by mistake, there were some good professors like Dr. Ashwini Bhalla, Dr. Singla, and Dr. Vikas Deep. And they put somebody else's marks in my answer sheet. And I got the second position in the university. Once I got the second position, they gave me the PhD. Why don't you go for scholarship? I said, I never wanted to study. Now you have given me the PhD also. I did PhD in 3 interesting subjects and they became legends in this country. One was cinematic tourism, one was medical tourism, and the third part was NRI PIO tourism. I combined these 3 together, and that was the econometric model. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this entire industry is based on 3A factor. What is that? Accessibility, amenities, and attractions. Somebody asked me, why don't you have PPT? I said, I'm PPT, I don't require any PPT. The thing is, once it comes from heart and once you have done on ground yourself, you know what the subject is. When I talk about accessibility, if you remember, 2003, my batchmate, my course mate from the army, Captain Gopinath, and there was Air Deccan Airlines. If you recollect, if you remember, there was an airline in India called Air Deccan. If you have not gone through, please go and search the Google, you'll be able to know. So now during the corona, you have to understand what Captain Gopinath gave in 2003 is applicable today. And he gave the phenomena of no frill airlines. No frill airlines. It is not possible to operate domestic and international airlines at 33% occupancy rates. That is the first factor I'm taking, because unless you don't reach a particular place, and air travel is the safest as compared to other modes and other means, those really want to travel. But if you ask my heart, the tourism will be a backbencher. Hospitality will not be the priority. And with them, tourism and hospitality, unless it is compulsion, because this entire triangle, airlines, tourism, and hospitality, there are psychometric and psychographic analysis you got to carry. I come from army, and if I tell you, I'm giving you a free ticket, there are only 3 terrorists in Pulwama. Would you like to go by first class, business class, Air India flight to Srinagar? You would tell me that you have turned mad. The same situation is going to be when this lockdown will get over and people will come back and they will come out of their respective residences. There'll be more psychographic problems than actual physical problems. People are not going to, or rather this entire pandemic, when I talk about COVID-19, all frills have to be removed. What we were telling earlier, B2B, that was known as business to business. Now it will be termed as back to basics. You got to first think of your basic food, your basic agriculture, your basic organic farming, your basic animal husbandry in your kitchen garden. on your rooftop, whatever area you have got at your residence, stop growing flowers. Stop growing ornamental things. Start growing the things with which you can survive. This corona is not going to go away so soon. Even if the vaccine comes, look at the world population. Somebody, one of the speaker gave an example of the Spanish flu and area and all. Don't compare to 918 to 2020. Look at the population at that time and look at the population today. And who is going to get the first vaccine? At what cost? And whether that vaccine is going to be effective. Also, nobody has got a real picture. Take my words. Everybody is talking a flu and a fluke at this point of time. Whatever we are trying to have some permutation combinations and trying to give lot of theories and lot of models that it is going to last for 2 months. After 3 months, we'll come back. What we were in month of January and February will never ever come back. It will not come back. All the norms are going to change. So the first thing is going to be your food, basic food. Hotel industry, I'll come little later. Tourism, forget about tourism for some time. Maybe next 2 years, if I'm realistic, there is not going to be any tourism. International tourism, totally forget about it. We will be talking all cosmetic things. If somebody is telling me, I've spent 50 years with tourism, my life, I'm 70 years plus now, and last 50 years, I have been deeply associated. No international tourism, think about it and talk about it. People, those are mature. They are finding alternative ways. Travel agents, tour operators, tourist transporters, all the people, my friends. Somebody was giving the figure of 50 million. I would like to give you a realistic picture of the MSME sector of India.
Sir, you have 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah, very good.
Conclude it.
8 crore people are going to be out of the job because of directly and indirectly, because that is the analysis we have given to Mr. Nitin Gadkari, the Honorable Minister of the MSME, because the entire analysis we have carried out from the Chamber, International Chamber for Service Industry. Once we have carried out the whole international and the entire European study, what we have done, American study we have done, and including my friends in the Canada, when we have done the study, 70% people are not ready psychologically to travel anywhere unless they get the vaccine, unless they get the proper measures. And secondly, if we try to run airline at 33% occupancy, it is not financially viable. It is not feasible. It is not practical. Who is going to talk about it? You take all the cost into consideration. It is not going to be possible. And my friend Ajay Singh, the CMD of the SpiceJet, when I was talking to him and discussing with him and all that, they are trying to convey to the government that, look, we have to allow, we have to take preventive measure and all. And I smile and I laugh sometimes when people are ringing me from the world over, can your chamber help us at the airport, in the airlines, in the restaurants, in the eating joints, and in the tourism activities, if you can have the items related to, the medical precautions and your masks and other kind of sanitizers and all. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody cannot provide mask and sanitizer. Everybody cannot be in that profession. Please understand. Now coming to the, Sanjeev has given a beautiful analogy. My regards and thanks to him. I saw him after a long time today, maybe almost 16 years now. When I came to Chandigarh for the first time, about 27 years back, my first restaurant used to be, and my first place used to be, I used to visit Sanjeev, such a wonderful person, practical person, and he himself. And whatever point he has given today, ladies and gentlemen, they are so practical. There is nothing beyond that we can talk about hospitality. Yes, I've got 3-4 things to add, which is again will be helpful in a very positive way. Number 1, at Janpath in Delhi, there is a Swarna Bhavan or something like that. I keep going for some kind of a thali system over there. It's a South Indian restaurant. It is right bang to the red light once you go over there. Now they have got a system. You give your name outside. They take down your names. You got to wait over there and you got to wait for your turn. Inside, when the table is going to be unoccupied or going to be vacated, then only you are allowed to go inside the restaurant. Now, those are in hospitality restaurant business. They got to think 10 times what social distancing has to be kept between two customers, how much distance is to be maintained, and people are going to have a psyche problem. I spoke to the Uber, I spoke to the Ola, I spoke to the Zomato, I spoke to everybody, and people have got a problem. A lot of people had purchased the new cars and they thought we are going to make money now and we'll pay the kish and the installment back to the bank. They are going to now they are going to now transport the food. But again, my question comes, when I checked up with the food and the grocery and everybody, they told me we are having a psychological problem. I said, what is that? They said, we do not know what has been cooked. We do not know who has packed it. We do not know which way it has been packed it. We do not know who is carrying it. We do not know how hygienic the food is. We do not know. Now, I have got little concern over here. I've got my heart for Sanjeev. He's just like a younger brother to me. And his practical approach is so feasible because hospitality industry has been hit so hard, so badly. I understand. But when I look at, people will not go for health sector. People will go for wellness sector. People will not go to 5-star hospitals. People will go to wellness establishments, yoga, meditation, naturopathy, nutrition, organic, and the food which has been cooked only 3 hours before, that is going to be consumed. Fridge is going to be thrown away. So what will I do with the frozen items? What will I do with all that? There are a lot of challenges, practical challenges which are coming through because Ministry of Ayush, I'm dealing with them. My chamber today is associated with 167 countries with 30 million people abroad. When I deal with all of them, there are so many challenges what we are going to face. It's not going to be an easy task. What we teach in college or what we teach in university, what we teach in institution is altogether academic to get that certificate and degree. But what happens practically is Sanjeev knows where the shoe pinches because it was so practical what he talked about. Now, airline people, when I'm day-to-day basis, I'm talking to them, there are so many difficulties. If you take the total cost, there is something known as econometric model. And I have got again a challenge with tourism, hospitality, airlines. A lot of people from Punjab and India took admission for higher studies abroad. Their aim was not to study. Their aim was just to go abroad, do a part-time job, get the permanent residency, settle down over there. Their fee has not come back. They haven't moved. They are still stuck over there. Universities are not returned. Vikasji, do I have 5 minutes or should I wind it up?
Sir, please wind up. We have a short of time.
Thank you, Vikasji. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for getting me. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gulshan, for giving your inputs. So basically, it's a more psychographic problem. We have to come to the basics now. You have given an idea, and I think that we must, all of us, think upon it, that we have to convert our hotels into wellness center, meditation center, and naturopathy centers, so that people are attracted towards it. All kinds of sanitization, sterilization are done there.
Ashwini ji, one another challenge will come. All the 5-star hotels which are getting converted into quarantine now, people will have fear to go to those hotels because they will have psychological problem.
Definitely.
Psychology is not going to allow them. Sorry for butting in.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now, thank you very much, Dr. Gulshan. You are always supportive to our organization. Now, I request our patron of Punjab Commerce and Management Association, Dr. Prem Kumar ji, to deliver his concluding remarks. Dr. Prem Kumar.
Thank you very much, Pcma office bearer Rashmi, Vikas, and Parat, Gurcharan, Dr. Sanjeev, Sanjeev Verma, chef, and maybe chef Parminder. It was pleasure listening to you. In fact, I'm very happy that PCMA has chosen to talk on a sector which is at the core of the economy. The very high level of GDP, as was mentioned by Dr. Gurcharan, with a 9%, 10% GDP, and 8 crores of employees. So it's a very large ecosystem, as Dr. Gulshan Sharma has mentioned. Dr. Gulshan Sharma has put a very interesting note on his own life and his own commitment to the sector, and we have a long association with him. I think it was in Jalandhar first or second PCMA meeting that we thought he should come and address the PCMA conference. Anyway, now I had thought of a long talk and a short talk. So I thought now that the forum is open, I would deliver both. The short talk first and the long talk later. The short talk is thank you very much, and the long talk is thank you and thank you very much. Having said that, there are three ways of looking at a phenomena. In the management, we talk about trends, fashion, and fads. So there are fads. For example, Gangnam dance or Kolivara D. They are all fads. They have a life of 2 months, 6 months, and then they go. And then you have fashions. So there are fashions, for example, the bell bottom or the low waist. So they last maybe 2 years, 3 years or so. And there are trends. So trends are typically what lasts maybe 5 years and more. When we are looking at the COVID and the tourism sector, so there are two ways of looking at it. What are the fads, what are the fashions, and what are the trends? So fads are currently, it is not song of the month or flavor of the month. That is a fad. Fashion is, it may take 1 year, 2 years till the medicine is come and we are confident enough to move around. Trend is what Dr. Gulshan Sharma was talking about and Chef Sanjeev was talking about. So trends are typically the long-term changes. Normally the trends take long time to come and they evolve over time. In this case, the trend has been in response to COVID-19. A lot of people may think that this is a temporary phenomenon and it will go. But I don't think there will be the fashion part which will go, of course, but there is a structural trend part which will not go. And that part is to do with micro level, what Sanjeev said, how the facilities will be redesigned and how operations will be redesigned. And the macro level, what Dr. Gurcharan Singh and Dr. Gulshan Sharma said, they have put enough ideas. So when even before COVID came, there were a lot of restaurants which are trying a lot of things. For example, I saw a picture, many of you would have seen a picture of a restaurant delivering food by a train moving around, a toy train moving around in the restaurant, or robots taking the orders. And so this trend was already there. So certainly this trend will get expedited. But see, every crisis also has a few inklings of a better future. And in this case, the better future is what Mr. Sanjeev Verma, Chef Sanjeev Verma said, the contactless manufacturing, the cloud kitchen. Cloud kitchen is going to be a big thing. But I do believe Dr. Gulshan Sharma may have read some statistics. I read another study where 33% people, if you recall Dr. Gulshan Sharma, as soon as the government allowed domestic airlines to operate, there was a rush of tickets. As soon as the government allowed the trains to run, there was a rush of bookings. So the psychological factor is there. It will take time to overcome. But I think the man by nature is a free being. And if you look at the world before the COVID, there were two sectors which are growing the fastest, the hospitality and the entertainment. I mean, typically 30 to 40% wherever you happen to be in the country. And therefore, I do believe that things will change. But I also believe that things will change for the better. So there will be growing opportunities to serve the customers in different or multiple ways. And I believe the changes that will take place will actually lead to higher customer satisfaction. There will be transformation of the sector. The sector will certainly have pain in the short term. Long term, there would be bigger opportunities. But I do think there would be structural changes. And I do feel that PCMA should, and Dr. Gulshan Sharma, of course, should be working with the government to suggest that there is definitely a need for support package for this sector, because they're a very large sector, critical sector for the industry. And only saying that it will also have industry status will not do much. Probably we have to have direct benefit transfer like of or pay protection program campaign for this sector. With these words, I will close because the closing time was 4:20, and I think we are already 4:20 or 28 or 4:30. Thank you very much, PCMA. I congratulate the PCMA office bearer and thank all the resource persons who have actually created a large awareness, what Dr. Gucharan said. And I think we are much better today prepared to have interventions. Please do not think that COVID is the only crisis we had, although we had one many years ago, but crises will keep coming. And if you, Dr. Gulshan Sharma, if you go back to some lessons of the book Black Swan that was written in 2007 by Nassim Taleb, the crisis will keep coming, but the organizations have to create that robustness in their own operations to be able to take advantage of the opportunities. For example, if you look at what is the opportunity in this crisis, the opportunity to actually carry out a lot of renovations, the opportunity to redesign, the opportunity to actually start preparing for the better times to come, which you never came, the opportunity to re-examine your business model, the opportunity to consolidate the industry, which is very, very fragmented, the opportunity to connect with the consumers. So these are all positive opportunities. I mean, the multiple ways or new and more innovative ways of serving the customer. I don't have off-the-cuff solution, but this is definitely an opportunity, and mankind has always responded with renewed vigor on every crisis, and I am sure the hospitality sector will bounce back. It will bounce back sooner. We already have 2 drugs introduced in India. You have Remdesivir and you have Favipiravir from the Glenmark, and I'm sure the vaccine is also on the way, maybe early next year or by the end of the year. Till then, let us prepare for better times. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Prem. We are all living on the hope, and hope will not die. And if hope will not die, we will survive. And definitely, whatever has been discussed in this seminar that is going to be useful for this industry, we will be working closely with Dr. Gulshan also to prepare some reports so that we can send it to the ministry, and that becomes a policy document for certain guidelines for this industry sector. So thank you very much. So now I request Dr. Vikas Deep to present the vote of thanks. Dr. Vikas Deep, General Secretary, Punjab Commerce.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ashwini, sir. Honorable Dr. Prem Kumar, Patron PCMA, Professor Sanjay Kaushik, Dean Colleges Development Councils, Punjab University, Chandigarh, respected Dr. Gulshan Kumar, Dr. Pushpinder Gill, Dr. Praveen Gill, Dr. Gurcharan Singh, Chairman, SMS Punjabi University Patiala, Ms. Roop Gill Excelson, I believe she has to leave for her next assignment, keynote speaker of the day, Chef Paramjit Singh Tillo, Chef Sanjeev Verma ji, our most valued invited guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of Punjab Commerce and Management Association and the entire fraternity of Commerce and Management here together, and on my behalf, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all the speakers for gracing your important work and sharing with us your opinions and findings today. Before, I formally extend my gratitude to all the speakers. I am reminded of two important takeaways, sir. Like few days back, I had the opportunity to listen to Mr. Patu Keswani, the owner of Lemon Tree, and Mr. Deep Kalra from MMT. So they were talking about innovations in hospitality industry and the tourism industry. I just two important takeaways. I'll take just 1 minute. Like the first thing, like from Patu Keswani, like it was a great, wonderful idea. What he did, he says he has tied up with all big IT companies for the employees, those who are bachelors, those who are staying in PGs or they are staying alone in shared apartments. They have shifted all those IT employees to their lemon tree hotels, those budget hotels, and they're trying to build their occupancy at very discounted rates. And they have been able to increase their occupancy. And it has been happening. And the Lemon Tree has been able to make a lot of money during this COVID-19 and almost they're running full occupancy. And second thing, what I had heard from regarding his HR policies, he says, like when I was everybody in the world is talking about cutting down the jobs or something like else, or like cutting down the manpower. He says, like I prepared a list of my all employees. So there are almost 1,000 employees with me. And when I look at the salary bill, almost 70% of the salary bill is for the top 100 employees. So he called top 100 employees and he discussed with them, negotiated with them. He asked them, like there are two alternatives. Either like I ask 50% of you to go, or like you all take about 40% salary cut. And everybody took 40% salary cut and everybody happily is working. So I think these are the innovations which like people are looking at working in this industry. Like everybody is there on the board, and similarly for the kitchens, for the restaurant, he says they're tying up with IT companies for handling their food services for their employees and all those things, and they have been able to manage. So I think these are the few innovations which I think all hospitality industry and people they have to look for, like rather than looking out of the box thinking has to be there. So like now coming over to my real task, a big thank you to Ms. Roop Gill Excelson for taking out time from her busy schedule and her efforts towards COVID-19, potential and challenges for growth and development and hospitality and tourism industry. Like she discussed like in detail about the current scenario and situation in the travel industry. She talked about the BuzzFeed, digital experiences and online experience in the virtual world. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for Dr. Sanjay Kaushikji for his presidential address and opening remarks. He came up with a very wonderful acronym on the COVID-19. Then further, like we are grateful to Dr. Paramjit Singh Chillon, Dr. Sanjeev Verma, for very like insightful presentations on threats, opportunities, and in fact, Dr. Sanjeev Verma for very practical like lessons, rather I'll say for the hospital industry. I also wish to express my gratitude to Dr. Gulshan Kumar for summing up the entire deliberations made during this conference. So finally, I would like to take this opportunity to place on record my hearty thanks to Dr. P. Kumar, Patron PCMA, Dr. Ashwini Bhalla, President PCMA, Dr. B.B. Singla, Vice President PCMA, and Dr. Rohit Sachdeva for conceptualizing and exhibiting wonderful leadership skills and teamwork for successful conduct of this event. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to state that we are all most grateful to all the speakers on this platform. We thank you very much for being with us this evening. It has been a great pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Over to Dr. Bhalla.
Vikas, before we leave, we have certain announcement by Dr. B.B. Singla regarding the certification. But before that, I must announce to all of you that we are going to organize workshop on case method of teaching and how to write cases for teaching purposes in educational institutions. So we are tying up with some international resource persons. Very soon we'll be coming to you. That will be a very, very great venture for all of us. Dr. B.B. Singla. So kindly share the information regarding certification so that the people should not be in a hurry.
Thank you, Dr. Bhalla. First of all, congratulations to the entire team and the participants, particularly the guests who spoke very well and gave us the information regarding the hotel and hospitality and tourism industry. Now the time is to close down this session of international conference on the event, but I have seen in the chat box that the participants are have no patience to get the certificates. The certificates will be issued, my dear friends, after the events only, as the organizers are also busy in attending the conference. So we will definitely prepare the certificates shortly. Maybe today evening after 8 p.m. It will be started to coding in your group.
I think they
But
should wait for a
maximum 48 hours. It can take 48 hours. So don't be hurry. If one get a certificate and another will not get in another 5 to 6 hours, so don't be panic. Your problem will be solved. Don't be in hurry. You have attended our event and it's our duty to provide you the certificates. We will do the same in 48 hours. However, we did not take 48 hours in previous any of the event, but it is the longest time that by 48 hours you will get your certificate. Don't be panic. You have to fill the feedback form. The form link is already available on the chat box. 5 times we have posted the link in the last 10 minutes. So please go through the feedback form, fill it up so that you can get the certificate. Second major important information for you is that when you fill your feedback form, please be sure that you fill your form by your exact name, what you want to be printed on the certificates, because later on it will create problem that I not want this to be printed on the certificate. Whatever you will fill in your feedback form, the certificate will come as it is. The certificates will be available in the Telegram link which was prepared at the time of the registration. You can search your certificate from the link. We will make it available on that particular Telegram link and you can search your certificates and get it printed. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all participants, all resource persons. We'll come to you soon with a new kind of some issues which we will be discussing. Thank you, Dr. J.K. Gulati. Thank you, Dr. Tirath Basra. I could see many professors from Punjab. So thank you very much, sir. We'll be coming to you soon. So, okay, Vikas, you end the meeting now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.